So one day I am walking, and it's kind of right before daybreak. And I'm walking by this one house.
It's the best time.
And it is very peaceful.
Yeah.
And they have a dog. But this dog, he barks from time to time, but he is like vigorously, angrily barking. And it was just a little strange, and it made me look up. And so as I look up, probably about 12 feet in front of me, there's this long snake, like just laying across the sidewalk, right? So, and it's crazy. He's just laying across the sidewalk, motionless. I see him, and just enough from the move his head so I know he's still alive, right? So now, it's just before daybreak. So what I knew is I maneuver into the street, go around, and I get on the other side of him, and I'm about to continue my walk, right? But then all of a sudden, I felt a sense of obligation. Like I can't just keep walking and let somebody just stumble upon this, right? So now,
And
I couldn't tell if it was venom. In my mind, they're all venomous. A snake is a snake, right? So it's funny because like now, as other folk are walking, I actually kind of become, just for a short period of time, like the neighborhood watchman.
Come on.
And everybody that's coming just like, yo, hold up, there's something, there's danger ahead. And so part of my witness in that moment is just kind of say, hey, there's something you need to watch out for. Now, this is the crazy thing. So like the people I kind of know and have developed a rapport with, like those are the ones that kind of heard what I said
and moved immediately
and moved around and moved away from it.
Right.
The folk that I did not really know, they were strangers. They kind of just kept moving, and they didn't divert their attention until they got right up on it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is there is something that when you know a person. And you develop a rapport with a person that allows your witness to have a deeper impact because of a connection.
Life can be fast-paced, strenuous, and flat-out overwhelming. Life transitions and taboo topics can make it hard to catch your breath. Welcome to Breathe, a podcast that enables you to slow down, get your bearings, and engage in real conversations where no topic is off limits. Breathe is presented by Breath of Life, hosted by David Person and speaker-director Pastor Debleaire Snell.
All right, we're here in the studio.
Hey,
another Monday.
It's another Monday.
Welcome to Breathe. Pastors Snell, Nugent.
Yes, indeed.
And Person. Not a pastor, but here nonetheless.
Let me
listen, we may graft them in.
Saul Bona.
We might graft them in.
All right, hey, listen.
I'm going to have to bring some oil to the... And we're doing ordination right here on the air one day.
Bring a big bottle. Bring a big bottle of oil. Can't just be one of those.
Maybe one of those little ones.
We got a little dot. No.
But welcome to this podcast.
Man, it's good.
We're glad to be with you once again. And we appreciate your comments and your ongoing support. It's a blessing to us. It feeds us and it informs us as we continue to move forward with this media ministry. One of the many, by the way, media ministries that emanate from
Breath of Life.
The Breath of Life television. That's interesting, right? It's a television ministry. That's the anchor,
right?
But then we've got all these other,
it expands.
We're actually kind of in the middle of a shift to where we may not just be referred to as a television ministry, but really a content creating Christian content group is probably where we will ultimately land.
That makes sense.
That's awesome.
Yes, not as I'm listening to you, because that's just one of our many offerings.
That's right. That's right. And you have really with the podcast and
the different shows.
I mean, you really, so that makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, and of course, all of that is a part of our efforts to do witnessing, sharing our faith. That's what this ultimately is. And that's what we want to talk about today in this latest edition of I Ain't There
Yet.
I know many of us, I think, have probably experienced the trepidation of feeling, okay, God wants me to witness. Jesus said, go ye therefore. Well, how do I do that?
Right.
And then
I don't preach. I don't want to do a Bible study. How do I do that?
How do I do that? And then in this modern age, am I supposed to do that at the gym?
Right. On my job?
At the job?
Yeah.
If I'm out at the grocery store?
Right.
How does that work?
How does that work?
Right.
So we want to explore that today.
Yeah.
If you feel the calling and the conviction
to share,
but you have some trepidation about how to do that.
Yeah.
And that's fairly normal, wouldn't you say?
I think so. And I believe that for some, the degree of difficulty is more than others. And it's not necessarily just a personality thing. I think that there are some of us that live in spaces within our family or where we work or in our friend circle that's probably somewhat antagonistic to the faith journey.
Yeah.
So there's some of us that maybe you work in a fairly Christian environment or amongst some other Christians, so there is some support or some people that resonate with what you believe.
Yeah.
But there are probably some of us that your decision to become a follower of Jesus Christ, it wasn't just met with skepticism, but it probably created some relational rift. And then there's some of us that perhaps work in cultures and you're just still trying to figure out how to even, make it known that you believe. And then there are probably some who like, you're probably, kind of what you refer to as the down low Christian. You know what I'm saying? Like you just, you believe, but you just kind of, you compartmentalize. And that's just a part of your world. You keep quiet and unto yourself. And so that's, I guess, why we want to kind of talk through it a little bit today. And so
I like that. I hadn't thought about it like that.
That's definitely a category. I wonder though, and because I do agree, everything you shared, I agree. I think all those categories exist, but I do wonder if in our faith tradition or in, maybe this isn't different or specific to our faith tradition, but have we complicated what it means to witness? Have we complicated what it means to share? Because at its most basic level, a witness has seen something.
Sure.
And is sharing what they've seen. So to me, I feel like for the most part, the issue is that we haven't seen anything.
Ooh. Okay.
And the challenge is because when I talk to folks about sharing, they immediately think of I'm going to do a Bible study. I'm going to give a Bible study. But now the trepidation is, what do I teach from the Bible? Because they've never done that before. They've not been to school. They've not been to seminary. And I get that. But I'm saying, but if God is working in your life, let's even take it off of God for just a second. If you experience something absolutely amazing, if I'm trying to get a good example, somebody decides to pay for your gas at the pump. Why you wouldn't share that? I mean, hey man, look what happened today.
Testify. I'm gonna share it.
You're just sharing. This is what happened. I mean, in terms of this has been my experience. This is something that happened in the course of my day. And I believe that what we lack isn't necessarily that we haven't seen it, but we're not sensitive to the moves that God is making on a regular basis. That old adage that says God is performing miracles every day. We just file them under normal.
Sure. Yeah.
But man, I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
We don't have is that expectation that you should have woken up?
Yeah.
That robs you from the ability to share with somebody, man, today's a good day.
Today's a good day.
Because God woke me up.
Yeah.
Because that's a testimony anybody could give.
Oh,
right.
Sure.
Yeah.
But so I'm not trying to make it a big thing.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lack of sensitivity towards the things that God is doing.
Yeah.
And then we don't open ourselves up to recognize when there are, let's not call it a coincidence. Not like say, oh, that worked out. God himself actually caused that thing to work together.
Yeah.
And we just need to give him the credit.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to pose that other side there.
Sure,
I hope that's helpful.
So it kind of sounds like what I'm hearing you say, and I think this is really key, is that witnessing first and foremost is about a personal experience.
Totally agree with
that.
that.
But I think a lot of times we are acculturated to think of witnessing as we're like proselytizing about doctrine.
About doctrine.
I gotta, I'm supposed to be out there talking about the Sabbath. Or the 2,300 days, or the three angels' messages, or something like that, as opposed to just a personal testimony about what God has done for me.
Yeah, this blew my mind. When I was in, I think I shared this with you when we were on the trip last week. But when I was in Africa, we went to preach. I went to do a project in Zambia, and the long story short, we were trying to fly under the radar, but the brethren found out that I was there, and he was like, "Who's here from the GC?" And I raised my hand. He's like, "Oh, you're preaching today." And I was like, come on, man. I wasn't prepared for this at all. But when the pastor sat with me and just said, Doc, just share what God has done. We're not, the people need to hear from you.
Yeah.
It's the concept of the sermon in that context, when I was in that part of the world, isn't the, mental and educational theological gymnastics that we make it here.
Yeah.
He was like, God is working in your life. Just share your experience. And so I just kind of put together a couple of stories, and I shared that. And he said to me afterwards, that is what God intended for us to get today. Yeah. So I'm looking at it from a couple of different angles, but yes, it is your experience. Yeah. Sometimes it will deal with some kind of doctrinal thing, but other times it'll just be every day. I think one of the reasons why people love the Breathe podcast is because we kind of talk about the Christian walk as the rubber meets the road. That makes sense.
Yeah,
we don't. It's not high. It's not too high that regular folks can't get to it. And I think that's why it's so effective. Yeah. And so this is why I love content. I'm on my kind of in the bag now, but this is why I love content because you're just. Somebody said to me, well, I'm not an authority figure. What if they ask this question? You tell them you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. But as long as you couch it from your experience. Well, I like the Android phone. Well, I hate the Android phone. Well, listen, in my experience, you see what I'm saying? In my experience, this has done me well. Nobody can argue with your experience. Right. They can argue their preference, but they can't argue with your experience. And if we share our experience, God did me wrong. Well, in my experience, God has always done me right. I have never seen the righteous forsaken or his seed begging bread. You see what I'm saying? So when I share it from my experience, like God, you take whatever you wanted to hear. That's what your experience was. I'm not trying to discount that, but let me just testify.
Yeah. Well, listen, man. I mean, I just think the thing is, and I shared this in a sermon recently. All of us are witnesses every day.
Every single one.
It's just really a matter of what we're witnessing to. And so you talked about witnessing being experiential. Yeah. So really, whatever is impacting us, we witness to that.
We do.
So like, it's so funny here in Huntsville. Whenever that Morningstar stuff goes on BOGO at Publix, buy one, get one free. Dude, it is like, man, it is, everybody becomes Publix evangelists. Like,
y'all,
there's this,
go to Publix.
Listen, I mean, it is a whole thing, like, because like something, you're going to get something that impacts you.
Yes.
Or on like, I think it's like a New Year's Day, Dillard's used to have this sale. And man, you would just, you got to go
over there.
Man, over there. Something is you're going to get something.
Right,
or, you see that movie that like,
there it is.
Like, dude, I just came and saw that new Mission Impossible.
Come on.
Either it was or it wasn't, so on and so forth.
Right.
And what I'm saying is like the things that are impactful to us, we bear witness to those things.
On a regular basis.
And I just think, part of us is just, I think we got to make sure that we don't get so numb, so we lose that sense of awe with the things of God.
Exactly.
That we minimize the impact that the gospel is having on our lives each and every day. Yeah. So that, because like honestly, when you're impacted by it, what you do is you witness to that.
So good.
And so whether it is God's love, or whether it is God's grace, honestly, because this is one of the problems I think with the Christian community. The only thing we really witness to is a financial breakthrough.
There we go.
Like, but how often do we just really testify to the grace of God?
The grace of God.
Yeah. How often do we just testify to like the love of God? For whatever reason, we feel like that's not as impactful as I got a job, I got a raise, this financial thing broke, because most people to a certain extent, they'll see that as anecdotal.
Yeah.
You got lucky. You got lucky. So forth. But like, I just think that, there's a portion of the witness that we've undervalued.
Yeah.
Where like, if we just begin talking about the love of God, like what it means to have God order your steps on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
I think if you just testify to the peace that God gives, Like, do you realize, man, everything in culture, whether, the whole self-care move, all, it's all in a pursuit of just like, man, the peace that passes all understanding that guards our hearts and our minds through Christ Jesus. And so I just think that, one, witnessing, we're all witnessing. Mm-hmm. So I just think part of us, we need to kind of amend and say, all right, man, am I more of a Publix witness or a Macy's witness or an AMC witness than I am to, witness for Jesus Christ? That I witnessed more for Black Panther than I did for the Lion of the tribe of Judah. You kind of catch what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, we're all witnesses. I think the other thing too is, so when you talk about those doctrines, David, see, I think some of us, and this may be kind of an older paradigm, we like to testify to just truth in a vacuum as opposed to the impact of truth.
Yeah.
So like, we like to kind of talk about the things that make us different as opposed to the difference those things make in our life.
That's good.
You see what I'm saying? Like, so we talk about the difference. Like I worship on a different day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think really the witness is, man, the difference in the life of someone who enters into Sabbath covenant.
Yeah.
Who is refueled once a week through connection and rest.
Yeah.
And all of the benefits that flow out of a life of embracing the principle of Sabbath.
Yeah.
Or we talk about the difference in diet and health. Like, okay, that's cool, but man, has that difference made a difference in your life?
That's
like
good.
That's where the impact is. And honestly, a lot of times that difference doesn't really have to be stated. It's going to be seen.
Right.
It's going to be observed.
That's
like
what people will ask about.
Sense like, wow, he's my age, but he got a little more energy. There's a joyfulness.
Come on.
There is a peace. There is and it's funny. It's something they can't even quantify. They just, some folk would say, man, there's just something on you. Is how a certain faith tradition would say it. Like there's just something on you. Like I was in a certain place. I was in the airport. And someone's like, yo, what you? Now again, I'm not in a suit or a tie. This is like my common airport gear,
attire,
right? Like a long sleeve t-shirt.
Hoodie, yes, indeed.
Because I don't like having my arms touching stuff in the airport, and I like a hoodie, and I want to lean back on the headrest.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I put on a pair of shades, so because I don't really want nobody to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? On these long flights. And
I'm laughing because I relate.
You relate to it,
I absolutely relate to all of that.
And I'm in the line. I think it might have been like the Cinnabon line. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And this is just like, are you a pastor or Christian?
Wow,
and
just
I'm
like
just
that.
Like, what? You know what I'm saying? I listen.
Mercy.
I should have. Although in the moment I was kind of like, what do you see?
What do you see?
But it's funny because like in my mind there are times where I kind of like, I can't really explain. You know how in the streets they say how game recognizes game. When church anointing recognizes anointing.
Yeah.
And there are times where you just sense like,
okay,
he or she seems like somebody who walks with God.
God.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can't really quantify it.
No,
you
I
just
totally,
know it when you see it.
Yeah.
Or when they talk, there's something, even before they say Jesus, you kind of hear it a little bit
it's coming.
coming.
Yeah.
And so I just think that, is the Christian experience making a difference in your life? Because even if you're not like the person to go up and hand literature to somebody or start a conversation or whatever, I just think that, when God is causing you to ride on the high places of the earth and he's feeding you with the heritage of Jacob, like just the prosperity outside of financial prosperity actually creates an end with people. Yeah. People want to kind of know, like, how do you have such peace? How do you, forgive the way you forgive? How can you stay patient? How do you, why, in all the midst of the world's derision, do you seem to kind of have a steadiness kind of about you? I think, or even when, even if you're just that person, when people have questions about life, do you even realize just like your marriage can be a witness?
Sure can.
So that like, even if it's not people wanting to go to your church, but like, right, when they have something happening in their relational world, they see the solid thing that you and your partner have, and they want your counsel. Yeah. They know you love God. They know you're a Christian, but they want to seek that counsel.
That counsel.
It creates an opportunity for you to again tell them the secret of your strength, ultimately, which is the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Right. And so for some, you may not be in a space where it's not going to be welcomed, but I just think the fruit of your life is going to be the invitation that gives you an end to share your faith. At that point, you just got to be willing and open to kind of talk about your journey and your experience in God.
Yeah, the difference. I love that. Yeah. Talk about the difference. Even when we were talking about in content, we have I have this whole module of selling, and doing the call to action, which is the appeal in the faith-based spaces, right? So what do you want the person to do, or if you want them to grab something? And the whole premise isn't to talk about the features and the functions of the thing. Yeah. It's to talk about the difference that it makes. It's to talk about how these headphones, when I don't have it on, I can't really hear the rest of you that well. Yeah. And when I have them on, I can self-edit. If I move away from the mic, if I come back to the mic, the headphones play a critical role. That's the difference that it makes. Yeah. And then somebody says, "Well, man, I need to go get those headphones." But the point I was sharing wasn't to share to get the headphones. I was just simply saying the difference that the headphones are making in what I'm trying to do right now. Yeah. And I think that's a critical piece for people to recognize as they share.
And can I share with you? There's a statement in the book Ministry of Healing. It's a book by one of the pioneers in our church, Ellen White. She says, Jesus mingled amongst men as one who desired their common good. Yeah. She says that how he won their confidence. Right. He met their immediate needs. Right. Then he bade them come and follow me.
That's it.
And it's funny because one of the things about it's crazy, the great insult that they leveled against Jesus. They're like, this man, he befriends sinners. Yeah. He eats with them and drinks with them. Yeah. And see, there are times where we kind of think witnesses is just stepping up to a stranger. Yeah. But honestly, it is being able to develop a credible Christian rapport with those who are already a part of your inner world.
Got it.
Give me a little leeway to kind of go the long route with the story about you. So, like in my neighborhood, sometimes in the morning, probably pretty consistently, I go walking in the morning, like right before sunrise. And it's funny because there's like a cohort of people in the neighborhood that I see walking every morning. So that's like, the crew, there's this older couple and the husband, he always wants to talk to me about, his what's happening with his colon and what's going on. I'm just kind of like, okay, all right. It's kind of early in the morning. And then there's this one guy, man, who wears these really short shorts, and it's just like a lot of upper male thigh for
way too early in the morning.
And then it's funny. It's this one young guy. He got abs. You could see them like a mile away. He's just be running all fast. He's be looking like, oh god, hit this guy right. And but there's this cohort of people, and we all kind of see each other, look out for each other, so on and so forth. So one day I am walking, and it's kind of right before daybreak, and I'm walking by this one house.
It's the best time.
And it is very peaceful. Yeah. And they have a dog, but this dog, he barks from time to time, but he is like vigorously, angrily barking, and it was just a little strange, and it made me look up. And so as I look up, probably about 12 feet in front of me, there's this long snake, like just laying across the sidewalk, right? So, and it's crazy. He's just laying across the sidewalk, motionless. I see him, and just enough for him to move his head so I know he's still alive, right? So it's just before daybreak. So what I knew is I maneuver into the street, go around, and I get on the other side of him, and I'm about to continue my walk, right? But then all of a sudden, I felt a sense of obligation. Like I can't just keep walking and let somebody just stumble upon this, right? So now, and I couldn't tell if it was venom. And in my mind, they're all venomous. A snake is a snake, right? So it's funny because like now, as other folk are walking, I actually kind of become, just for a short period of time, like the neighborhood watchman.
Come on.
And everybody that's coming just like, yo, hold up. There's something, there's danger ahead. Yeah. And so part of my witness in that moment is just kind of say, hey, there's something you need to watch out for. Yeah. Now, this is the crazy thing. So like the people I kind of know and have developed a rapport with, like those are the ones that kind of heard what I said
and moved immediately
and moved around and moved away from it. Right. The folk that I did not really know, they were strangers. They kind of just kept moving, and they didn't divert their attention until they got right up on it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And what I'm saying is there is something that when you know a person and you developed a rapport with a person that allows your witness to have a deeper impact because of a connection versus, man, just showing up to. And again, I'm not saying you should not witness to people you don't know, but I'm saying I think our first mission field, that's why Jesus said, okay, you're going to be witnesses to me. Jerusalem, where you already are.
Right.
Samaria, it's pretty much our first cousins.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, Jerusalem, Judea, excuse me. Samaria, then the uttermost parts. So I just think it begins, you know what I'm saying, with just befriending people, developing a rapport with people, showing relatability to people. Because honestly, they could not, those who I didn't know, they kind of ignored the warning.
Yeah.
Those who I knew, because they knew I had concern and love with them, they were like, okay, what you know, da da da.
Yeah.
And so I just think that sometimes, you know, we're so anxious about, man, the stranger, the person I don't know, not realizing that your maximum impact is probably with neighbors, friends, loved ones, family, so on and so
there
forth.
in your sphere.
And if I'm gonna be honest,
that's gold
for myself. I just don't want anybody just rolling up on me and start trying to tell me what's wrong with my life or what I should be doing or shouldn't be doing. And when I don't know them.
I don't know them.
No relationship.
Have a rapport, you know, I'm basically like, whatever. You know, or I may even turn around and start telling them about themselves. You know, and unfortunately, I've done that. You know? But I think you're right. The witnessing at its best begins when you cultivate a relationship.
Exponential impact when you have a relationship.
And so I just think that's where I would just encourage people is just, if you want to begin, it's not necessarily with just a piece of literature or sharing a belief. And again, none of those things are bad, but it's just, I think if you want to be fruitful and impactful, you know, it is that's why, like, Jesus didn't just stand on the mountaintop, preach and bounce. He sat down and he ate and he fellowshiped. And he got to know you and he got to know them. It is why he touched the leper. When he could have just spoke the word. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, it was all about developing a rapport and a connection with people.
My word.
And honestly, when you actually read the book of Acts, like when you really study it, you know, as much as there was sermons and healings, it was breaking of bread, in a house, talking, sharing, so on and so forth, da. But what we do is we kind of only romanticize that one segment of it, but we actually, you know, strip away the power of, man, these fellowship, breaking of bread moments where, you know, people, you know, where the gospel is able to be transferred not from one center to the masses, but from one center to the next through this interpersonal relationship that actually takes place.
Love it.
The other thing I do want to say, just, you know, for those who just have some anxiety about being a witness, one of the things I want to encourage you to do is to do what the apostles did. One of the things the apostles did is they did pray for boldness. Like there were certain settings and cities where, like, they're not going to hear this here.
No, not at all.
And it's probably not going to be received here. And what they prayed for was boldness, and the Spirit of God came upon them in a way that they were able to do that with a boldness unapologetically, and it just flowed out of, you know what I'm saying, this lived experience that they have with God. So there's some, I think, man, you've developed a rapport with people. People believe you are credible. Like, they want to, but the only thing that's lacking for some people is just the boldness. And, you know, because, you know, it for some, it's going to be very awkward and it's going to be a departure from the norm. But I just think if you pray for boldness, I believe God will grant you that boldness to be able to be powerful in the space of life where He's assigned to you. And you're assigned where you work, where you live, the family you abide in, you know, the community where you recreate. That's your mission field. And so sometimes it's just really having the boldness, and for some is just to kind of get off the down low and say, I believe, because, you know, one of the things I realized, there's some of us that have more influence than we realize. So that, man, when you say I'm going shopping, guess what? There's a crew that goes with you to the mall. When you say I'm going to the movies, there's a group that automatically coalesces and follows you to the movie. There's an impact and an influence you don't recognize that you have. And not to just say, you know, it's important that at some point you leverage that relational capital for something that is eternal. And that you know, kind of really realize that it's okay.
It's okay.
This is who I am. God has made a difference in my life, and I want the others to be impacted in that same way.
Amazing.
And then the last thing I want to say is just that when it comes to being a witness, you know what you can't be afraid of? You can't be afraid of rejection. Like, remember what Jesus was like, man?
So true.
You're going to go into certain cities and certain villages, and they just not going to receive you. And he says, you know what you got to do? Knock the dust off your sandals. Because his whole point is they're not rejecting you. Yeah. They're actually rejecting me. Yeah. And so I just think that there are some of us that maybe you've tried to share faith with a family member, coworker, friend, and it just wasn't received well, and it left a scar for you. And now you're just kind of like, I'm just going to stay in my corner, da-da-da-da. And what's happening is you took it personal. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You thought it was a rejection of you when the truth is, it's a larger rejection. And sometimes it's not even a rejection. So, and not to get too theologically heavy, but remember, in Paul's first letter to the church of Corinth, he says, because like what they was doing this stupid thing. So like some would be like, man, I came in under Apollos. And I came in under Paul. And there are these sections in the church, and because of who led them to Christ. And he laid out this principle I pray that everybody embraces. He says, some planted, others watered, but God gave the increase.
That's good.
And so the point is, there are some who heard it when Paul preached it, but Paul was just sowing the seed in their life. Some, got watered in a different season, but when Apollos showed up, that's just when the increase came. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And his whole point is he that sows and he that reaps, they are one.
They're one.
They're not two separate entities.
Come on.
They're all working toward the same aim. So the reason I'm saying this is because for certain people, you're just going to be the person that plants.
Yeah.
And that's your role.
That's your
in that season of their life.
That season, yeah.
And in your mind, you're thinking they didn't receive it. No, it's doing its work underneath the soil.
Yeah.
For some, your influence is going to be watering. It is where things germinate. It's where they're not talking about it, but they're thinking about it. In their quiet time, they're meditating and saying, should I? And then there's going to come a time where you didn't sow, you didn't water, but through your influence in that person's life, a harvest springs forth.
Boom.
Yeah. And it didn't end. It didn't begin with you, but it ends with you. So there are times where, honestly, when I preach, right, and I open up the doors of the church for the appeal, and there's somebody, by the time I even open it, they're running down the aisle. Wow. They're moving even before I make the appeal, and they're not responding in that moment just to a one sermon.
No.
Somebody planted. Somebody's watered.
Yeah.
And this is just kind of a reaping day where God is giving the increase.
Yeah.
Now, again, so for me, that happens in a pulpit, but for you, it may happen as you share your faith in your gym, in your small men's group, in the prayer thing you do at the end of work for your job, or so on and so forth, whatever it is.
Book club,
whatever it is. But just be salt, be light.
Yeah.
And I just think really the other thing is too, is when it comes down to witnessing, there's this statement that says, preach always, use words when necessary.
That's right.
It is a transformed life.
That's right.
That is really the most impactful witness.
That's it.
But then just
living
the other
epistle.
thing.
I love it.
Be helpful. Like, be a servant.
Yeah.
Like, just be better the space you're in. And honestly, that becomes its own witness. And then the other thing I will say to people who work, in your work job, sometimes you can't preach Jesus, but man, excellence and fruitfulness in your work becomes an opportunity for you to share faith.
Very.
And I would even add to that just lovingness and being loving and kind also. Excellence in work, absolutely. But just the spirit that you bring to your job.
Spirit in which you do it.
Because if you can be excellent in your work, but if you got a nasty attitude,
mercy.
It's going to offset.
Whatsoever you do with all your might, as if working unto God and not unto man.
As unto the Lord.
So I just think, hopefully the thing that you're getting from this is witnessing is not just one thing.
Agreed.
Yeah. There are a lot of different layers to it, and a lot of different ways to make an impact for the kingdom of God. And everybody's witness is not going to look the same. Like, there's some people, man, that can bake a cake in a way that'll make you come to Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
No, real talk.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's their gifting.
Food is their ministry. And others, it's encouragement. And others, it's, words of wisdom. So there are a lot of different ways based on your gifts that you can do it.
And what I also have heard you say, I believe, is that witnessing is not about us.
Mm-hmm. It's not about us.
It's not about us. It's about the one to whom we
speak.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's not about us.
Mm-hmm.
So we may be there to experience or to witness the benefit of it.
Absolutely.
Right.
We may not.
Yeah.
Either way, it's not about us.
Not about us. That's the word.
That's a good word. That's a good word.
All right.
It's a good place. It's a good place to land right there.
And since we're landing the plane right now, this is the time when I say, if you have a subject, a topic, an issue, a concern that you want to raise with us, put it in the comments, shoot us an email. We'll bring it up on the program. Well, that's if the boss says,
Well, we want to respond.
Yeah.
And we want to scratch where you're itching.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we want to address the concerns you have.
And then we also want to say, be a good witness for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Share.
I like that.
Tag.
I like that.
Be a digital disciple.
Be a digital disciple.
Be an Apple apostle.
Even
if you're like Pastor Nugent and you're under the Android anointing,
Amen
you can
for
still
the
help.
Android anointing.
Oh, man, it's both of you guys.
we touch them anyway.
I got a lot of false prophets on the set today. But even if you're under the Android anointing, you can still help us.
That's right. That's right.
I
That's
love
good.
it. Well, until next time.
That's right.
Don't forget, God is with you.
Yeah.
Even in the challenging process, if it's challenging for you, of witnessing. God will be with you.
He will.
And I love something that Pastor Snell said today. Pray for the boldness, the courage
I love that.
to be a witness. And God will show you how.
Yeah.
Especially if you stop, pray, and breathe.
Breathe is produced by David Person for Breath of Life. Executive producer is Debleaire Snell, and sound engineer is Kirk Nugent. Audio episodes of Breathe can be found on Apple, Spotify, or Google Podcast platforms. For video episodes and extra content, check out the Breath of Life YouTube channel. Breath of Life is faith-based content, resources, and programs from a contemporary urban perspective for those looking for hope and guidance. We believe that every breath we take is a testimony that God is consistent, that He loves us, and has a plan for our lives.